Good morning and welcome to Accessing LA's Build With 2023. My name is John L. Reamer Jr. I am the Inspector of Public Works for the City of Los Angeles and Director of the Bureau of Contract Administration in the Department of Public Works. I am humbled and honored to be with you today. We've come a long way during the past 3 years, and as we expand exploring renewed opportunities, I am pleased you chose to participate in Build With 2023. Thank you so very much. I also want to thank our city partners, those firms participating in our matchmaking B2B, our Accessing LA team, and near and dear to my heart, especially the BCA team, for all of your dedication to make this a reality. The Accessing LA program seeks to promote the city's vision of fostering the inclusion and economic development of all Los Angeles residents and businesses. This year, we are conducting 2 events, today's workshop, and next week, an in-person matchmaking event that will take place. Build With is in its 6th year and has become our annual construction matchmaking event we hold as we close out the city's Black History Month celebration. So I am just pleased to be here today. We want to provide you with as many resources, opportunities, and knowledge as possible today. We're going to cover topics including an overview of the city's new local business bid preference program, the Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement, better known as RAMP, upcoming procurement opportunities, and a prime perspective and inside look at community level contracting. So once again, thank you. Thank you so very much for joining us today. I encourage you to take full advantage of all the information offered during the Accessing LA Build With virtual event. It is now my pleasure to introduce our mayor, the Honorable Karen Bass, to provide you a welcome.
Hello, I'm Mayor Karen Bass, and it's my pleasure to join the Board of Public Works in welcoming you to Assessing Los Angeles. Assessing LA. LA procures over $45 billion in contracts every year. And it's critically important that every business in the city has a fair shot at benefiting from these contracts, especially local and small businesses that hire from within their own communities. So that's what today is all about, ensuring that everyone has the tools and resources they need to pursue opportunities and to succeed. I know the journey can feel daunting, but my administration is committed and dedicated to supporting you and expanding economic opportunity through procurement. I look forward to working with the Office of Procurement, the Board of Public Works, and the Bureau of Contract Administration to continue in our work to create a level playing field. And I encourage you to take advantage of all of that today has to offer. Thank you and enjoy the event.
Thank you so very much, Mayor Bass. We're also joined today by several council members to help set the tone for our event. From Council District 8, Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson.
Hello, I'm Mayor Karen.
Our city's problems require collaboration and innovation. Los Angeles must create a framework that ensures African Americans and other people of color have access to the myriad of economic opportunities created by the city's infrastructure investments. I would like to thank all of the entrepreneurs who are joining this webinar, as well as the Los Angeles Board of Public Works for their continued efforts to connect our small businesses to our contracting opportunities within the city of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris Dawson. We also have from Council District 10, Councilmember Heather Hutt.
Greetings, Councilwoman Heather Hutt here, welcoming you to the Board of Public Works and Bureau of Contract Administration's 2023 Accessing LA's Build virtual event. Let me first begin by saying, equity matters. And it's our job as public leaders to ensure that everyone can benefit from the opportunities Los Angeles has to offer. Here at City Hall, we're committed to providing equitable resources and economic opportunities so that our small businesses can thrive. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy. So I'd like to thank everyone who joined us today and give a special shout out to the Board of Public Works for their continued effort to connect small business to our contracting opportunities. Be safe, be well, and happy networking.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hutt. We certainly appreciate your being with us today. Next, I'd like to introduce to you an inspiring force behind this event. Board of Public Works President Pro Tem, Commissioner Dr. Mike Davis.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Reamer, our Inspector General of the Bureau of Contract Administration. And the work that the Contract Administration Bureau does is so critically important to our success. It is critically important because they are the ones that provide the information with small businesses in terms of how to do business with the city of Los Angeles. This year, we have in the African American Heritage Month Committee focused on the national theme for African American Heritage Month, which is simply Black resistance, past, present, and future. And as we look at the African American experience in this country, we have confronted discrimination, segregation, and many barriers, but we have overcome. In the Department of Public Works, we are concerned in reflecting the vision of Mayor Karen Bass and that of our great city council. And in doing so, we have been able to assess where we are. We want to increase the numbers of communities that enjoy public contracting in the city of Los Angeles. And when we look at the data, we know that Asian American community and the Latino community is short of 2.4% of the subcontracts. But even more challenging in the African American community, the last data reviewed said that they were 0.3% of the subcontracts that the city lets out. And so it is the vision of our leaders, Mayor Karen Bass and the City Council of Los Angeles, that we will help to implement public policy that would create opportunities for all communities to enjoy public contracting in Los Angeles. Having said that, in summary, we have honored contractors, prime contractors, who have reflected our vision. And just yesterday, before the Board of Public Works, we honored Tetra Tech, we honored Gruen Associates, and Excel Paving. Despite the many challenges today, they have been able to do matchmaking that has resulted in their including minority communities in general, but African American community, residents, and small businesses in particular. So today, as we reflect on African American Heritage Month, we resist the exclusion of minority groups, and we promote and we encourage the inclusion. And in summary, we have benefited from the work that RAMP does in terms of providing assistance to help us do outreach. And most of all, we're very proud of the Bureau of Contract Administration and their effort to implement matchmaking events where prime contractors can get to know our small business community. So I wish each of you well, and I know that you will gain some knowledge today that will help you to attend the matchmaking committee event that is to follow, and that you will be successful. Thank you so very much for allowing me to give greetings this morning. And I'm encouraged by the great work that our Bureau of Contract Administration does in teaching all of us how to do business with the city of Los Angeles. Thank you and good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Andrew Choi. I am with the Office of Procurement. Thank you for having us today. Uh, my First of all, thank you to Commissioner Davis and Board of Public Works and BCA and Mr. Reamer for hosting this great event. Next slide, please. My role here today is to tell you about RAMP, the Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement. As many of you are already registered on, it is our centralized outreach platform. This is where you will be informed of upcoming events, upcoming procurement opportunities, and where you can start your process of becoming part of the city network and family. Next slide, please. So what is RAMP? RAMP was the full replacement of LA Bobbin. If you've been a previous city contractor prior to April of 2021, we had a system called the Los Angeles Business Assistant Virtual Network. RAMP is the replacement of that platform. It is a redesign of the system. We updated the user interface. We updated its capacity and its ability to assist you in your search for contracting opportunities, and also your ability to do future engagement from business to business engagement. It also houses a lot of our procurement data and has now expanded to allow you to generate your own reports and your own information, so you can do research on what the city has been doing with its procurement dollars. We procure billions of dollars worth of procurement, but one of the changes we did with RAMP is that now you're able to see procurement opportunities from other agencies as well. If you've been on the system recently, you'll notice that LAUSD, the City of Long Beach, the Port of Long Beach, and Transit of Long Beach, including the City of Glendale, are now posting contracting opportunities in the space. Now you can be part of that as well. We have decided to go from just the City of Los Angeles to make it a more regional experience, so it becomes a one-stop hub for all your contracting needs. Additionally, next slide, please. Additionally, we have also expanded not only with government entities, but with also private sector partners. So not only are you going to find contracting opportunities from the city, but you may be contacted by any of the organizations listed here, because now they are pulling from our database of vendors to outreach to find businesses like yours. Anything from small, local, diverse businesses to large multi-conglomerates. They're looking for partners in different spaces and different industries. You'll find that the city, well, historically has procured in a very narrow sector, such as construction and certain types of services. Our private sector partners are looking for restaurants and florists and other service providers like security. So industries that the city has historically procured in, our private sector partners are procuring in. So please, if you are not yet, please register today. RAMP is going to be your first stop shop after this meeting to start getting opportunities being notified directly into your mailbox. Next slide, please. When you log into our platform, when you first go into rampla.org, you'll see on the top right-hand side that said login. You can register in that portal right there. It'll take you through a step-by-step process where you're going to be able to begin your journey. You will be asked to set up your Angelino account. Your Angelino account is your single user login to reach multiple of different systems. So not only will you get access to RAMP, but you'll be able to find information regarding the library, other bureaus of the Board of other bureaus in Public Works, and other city services available to you. Next slide. Once you're registered, you can search for opportunity immediately. On your left-hand side, you will see something called what we call a menu of options. Previously, before you were given one or two fields to look up procurement opportunities. We decided to give you a more of a shopping experience, something more tailored to your needs. So again, if you use the left-hand side, you can search by opportunity name, the organization, a specific department. You can search by categories such as services, construction, commodities, and you can also look up specific by industry codes and industry types to, again, better match what is suited for you. Next slide. And if you are a business looking for another business, maybe related to our business inclusion program or our other programs that we have in the city, or if you are looking for just a new subcontractor yourself, we created something called regional profiles. Businesses now can self-advertise themselves, self-advertise through their business profiles. You can set up your contact information, identify the industry codes, even list down any contracts you have with the city or any other agency. Think of it as an online resume for your business that you have full control of, and businesses can search for you. And with that, Mr. Reamer, I hand this back to you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And I so appreciate you being one of our key partners. And to all of you, if you have not accessed RAMP, I strongly encourage you to do so. Let that be the first thing you do after our time together today. It is our regional marketplace, and we want you to have access to all the opportunities that we can place there. So please join us. And again, Andrew, thank you so very much. I have a question for you. Are you familiar with the term community level contracting? Let me think. Community level contracting. I may have heard about it, because trust me, if you haven't, you want to pay close attention to what we are about to share with you right now. We have with us today Paul Eck and Elliot Choi with the Bureau of Engineering, along with Rosa Asario with Meriwether and Williams, to speak to us about upcoming opportunities.
Paul, can you unmute yourself, please?
Good morning, everyone. How are you? My name is Paul Eck with the Sidewalk Division of the Bureau of Engineering, Department of Public Work. As Mr. Rimmer mentioned earlier, I am going to talk to you about the community level contracting that the Sidewalk Division is or has been offering to the community, to the community level contractors. Slide, please. Thank you. The Bureau of Engineering Sidewalk Division has this program called Pre-Qualified On-Call Sidewalk Small Contractors List. And this is the level, the community level contracting that we have. We have, the next slide, please. Thank you. So before we go into the detail in the community level contracting or the small sidewalk repair contracting list that we have, I would like to introduce or provide a history of sidewalk programs. In 2016, the city has entered or has settled with an agreement called Village Settlement with the community, with the community of Los Angeles. And the settlement required the city to spend about 1.37 or $1.4 billion over 30 years to remediate the sidewalk issues within the city of Los Angeles. In March 2016, the City Council instructed BOE to implement a program consistent with the village. To date, the sidewalk repair program has received over 6,500 requests to remediate the sidewalk issue within the city of Los Angeles. In order to repairs the issues, remediated issues, sidewalk programs has implemented 4 type of delivery methods or how to repair these issues. One of them is a sidewalk. It's a rebate program that the constituent can do the repair their own and apply for the portions of the cost. We have regular construction contracts that we go through a bid and award process. Sometimes it is a regular bid, design, bid, build, and or design build. And some of the contract or some of the sidewalks are being repaired by city crews with the Bureau of Street LA, and the small sidewalk repair contracts, which we advertise the project to small contractors. Next slide, please. So small sidewalk repair contracts. It's a pre-qualified on-call contractor list. It has been established the first time since 2016. It was a joint effort with Bureau of Contract Administration and Bureau of Engineering. It was as a pilot program for the community level contracting. The goal of the small sidewalk repair contracts is to make the public contracting more accessible to small businesses like yours. It provides assistance with navigating complexity of the public contracting process. It provides the experience, or it helps you gain the experience as a prime contractors on small manageable package of less than $100,000. So all of our package, all of our contracts basically are designed to be less than $100,000. As of today, we have delivered or we have awarded 40 small packages to our small and local contractors like yours. The total estimated awarded amount is $2.9 million. Next slide, please. Now, due to the current situation of the economy, the inflations, we are going to revise, or we are going to re-advertise and recreate or generate another small contractor list. The one that was created in 2016 was extended in 2019 and extended again in 2021, will expire in 2023. That contract has a limit of $100,000, as I mentioned earlier. The limit of the project is $100,000, but the new one, the new qualified, pre-qualified on-call list will have a ceiling amount, project ceiling amount of $150,000, an increase of $50,000. The advertisements of this pre-qualified on-call request for qualification, RFQ, will be advertised via RAM-LA, ramla.org that Andrew has mentioned earlier, and Andrew, letting you know how to apply, how to search for these pre-qualified on-call requests for qualification. The new pre-qualified on-calls will have the initial validation or initial contract of 5 years. We will have the options of adding new contractors if we need onto this list throughout the programs. If, let's say, initially we have 20 firms on the list, 25 firms, and if we need more contractors, we'll be adding more throughout the years, throughout the durations of the list. The estimated timeline for this pre-qualified on-call request list is in spring 2023. We hope to obtain Board of Public Works request qualification approval to advertise on LA RAMs. And we hope to release by spring 2023 as well. We are currently working with the Board of Public Works for board reports so that we can advertise this on RAM. By fall of 2023, we hope to obtain that approval and issues of the list and issues the new list. Next slide, please. So typically, these are the typical scope of the small contracts. Again, I mentioned before, we have a large contract and a small contracts for small contractors like you. Typical scope of work for small contracts include sidewalk replacement, curb ramps replacement installation, driveway replacement, curb and curb gutter replacement. It's a related element to sidewalk. Asphalt concrete patching and replacement, tree root pruning and tree canopy pruning, tree removal and new tree plantings. If we remove one tree, we're required to plant 2 more trees. So if we remove a tree, we have to plant new trees. Utility box and vault adjustment, procurement for the utility box, working with other divisions such as LADWP, LADOT for those type of utility box and vault, coordination with other agencies, as I mentioned. Installing 4-inch or 6-inch single PVC, and also replace the landscape in kind as if it is existing in at the site, and of course with other sidewalk related elements that requires us to get the sidewalk into to compliance. Next slide, please. Well, okay, these are examples. So those are the scopes of work, and we've as I mentioned, we've been a very successful program. We have delivered about 40 sidewalk repaired, which with the awarded amount of $2.9 million. These are examples. This was done by Max Out. These are Max Out Int. It was at 644 East York Boulevard, CD 14. The project was to remove the sidewalk on the left and then repair and make it compliant. But these locations is an HPOZ zone, historical preservation overlay zone. So it requires a contractor, Max Out, and us, Bureau of Engineering and Sidewalk Division, to coordinate with Department of Planning to ensure that once the sidewalk is completed, it's compliant, and also it has a scoring pattern as it was before, or at least very similar to what we had before. Thank you, Max Out. This was a very successful project. Max Out is also currently working on getting another project with us. Next slide, please. This one at 5924 Great Oak Circle was completed by Rojas Construction. Rojas Construction has been awarded one more project with us currently. They are working on breaking ground and with other projects. This location is at a very steep hill. Did you see the damage on the sidewalk? Rojas was able to work with us and Urban Forestry Division to come out with the repaired sidewalk on the right side. It is not a 5% slope, but it is a better conditions, compliant cross slope that we can put in these situations. Thank you, Rojas Construction. Next slide, please. Okay, this one was completed by Geronimo. Okay, Geronimo. This site was at 55 L Street, CD14. Now, as I mentioned, it's a very successful program. Geronimo had been working on small package with us and has been working with us. And Geronimo has taken on larger project as well, the regular construction contracts. Thank you. Next slide, please. This was also with Geronimo. Oh no, this was with Wire Construction. Wire Construction completed this in, I think it was in 2021. They had to remove 2 trees and they had to plant 4 trees. This involved the alley intersection as well. This alley intersection has to be in compliance as well once it's completed. Next slide, please. This one, Geronimo, it was at 504 Arlington Avenue. Thank you. It's a good example of our completed project. It was successful. As I mentioned, Geronimo has taken on regular contract. Next slide, please. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Now, as I mentioned, remember the timeline, spring of 2023 and then fall of 2023. We hope to able to issue a construction order for the new on-call list. If you have any question regarding sidewalk program, community level contracting, please contact me. My name is Paul Eck. I'm a civil engineer with the Bureau of with the Sidewalk Division. Elliot Choi, Senior Management Analyst with Sidewalk Division. Thank you for your time. So I'll hand it back to Mr. Rimmer.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that presentation, enlightening us regarding the community level contracting. And we're going to have, is it Rosa or Elliot to share with us a little more?
No, it's me, Rosa. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me this morning. My name is Rosa Osorio. I am the Assistant Program Manager for the Contractor Development and Bonding Program, which is administered by Meriwether Williams Insurance. Next slide, please. So as it was mentioned before, although the the sidewalk repair list was established in 2016, the program got involved with BCA in 2015 to, they came to us because they had this program in mind and they wanted to help small businesses. So the City of LA established the community level contracting, which we refer to as CLC, opportunities to provide contracts that can be accessible to small business contract community. The Los Angeles Bureau of Contract Administration, in partnership with Public Works, Bureau of Engineering, LA Sanitation, and LADOT are leading this initiative, which with a shared goal to create more contract opportunities conductive for small construction firms and enable them to work directly with the city as LA, with the city of LA as primes. Next slide, please. So since 2016, we've had 5 different programs in place: the sidewalk repair program, the mobile fleet washing, the bus stop lighting, the solar PV, and the landscape and other facility maintenance services. All of these are community level opportunities that have been offered to small businesses in order for them to, work directly with public projects as a prime, and this helps them, build their capacity as well as build their bonding capacity in order to bid on larger projects, going forward. Next slide, please. So in the current sidewalk repair list, there are 35 contractors that were put on the list, and 18 of those contractors are enrollees of the program that we were able to assist with all our efforts in order for them to get on the current list. And those efforts include, in early engagement of the program with DOC to provide contract requirement recommendations. We also identify a pool of qualified contractors. So the licenses required for you to get on the list are either A, B, or C8 licenses. So if you, hold those licenses and you're interested, please, contact us. We also provided targeted outreach. So back in December of 2022, we hosted an outreach workshop to let all the small businesses know about this upcoming new sidewalk repair program that's coming this year. And from that workshop, we had about 70 contractors that were interested, that registered, that would like to get, would like to know more information, would like to get ready to get on this list. And the efforts that we're able to provide, prior to the RFQ being released is there's different requirements that small businesses are going to need. One of them is DIR registration. So we can assist with getting you ready with registering with DIR. You also will need to be registered with RAMP. And as it was mentioned, the projects are, going to be about 150. So you will need bonding, so we can assist with getting you up online. And of course, with certification, even though it's not a requirement, we're, helping contractors with SBE and LSBE certifications. We, once the RFQ is released, we will provide a statement of qualifications technical assistance workshop, which is going to be a in-person workshop that we're going to be able to assist all the contractors that are interested. We're going to go over all the documentation, make sure that they understand what the requirements are and all the documents that need to be completed, signed, notarized in order to get on this ongoing list. Next slide, please. We will also provide SOQ documentation review. So once a contractor has all the documents ready before submitting, we can set up meetings to go over the documents, make sure that everything's signed, notarized. We'll also do contractor ongoing support once the contractors are on the list and they're awarded a package. We have developed a small sidewalk repair service contract checklist for those enrolled contractors. And we will, to determine the next steps once you're on a project. Next slide, please. So this is just a quick snapshot of the checklist that we're going to provide our contractors to let them know these are all the services that we can provide once you are on a project. Next slide, please. In addition to our efforts for the sidewalk repair program, these are the services that we provide. You do a contract assessments once you're enrolled in the program, which is a one-page enrollment form. We create a work plan with next steps of what you need to do with our assistance in order to be ready to bid on any public project. We assign you a dedicated contractor development manager. We provide one-on-one technical assistance. You also have access to the collateral support for bid payment and performance bonds if you're unable to qualify on your own. The city will provide collateral support in order for you to qualify. We also have our new program, which is CFAP, our contract finance assistance program that allows it's a contract-based financing for small businesses that allow a contractor to use awarded contract as collateral. We also have field support contract review and construction management support. We have monthly trainings. We have bidding, estimating, and contract award management academies throughout the year. Our next one is going to be our bidding and estimating academy that will be starting on March 15. We can assist you with cash flow management, training, and support, certification assistance, and we can create a contractor profile for you to use as a marketing tool, kind of like a capability statement. All the services that we provide are free to you, so please take advantage if you are interested. Again, if you're interested in getting onto the sidewalk repair program and you hold an A, a B, or a C8 license, please give us a call, contact us. We will help you get ready. So that once the RFQ comes out, you will be able to submit your SOQ documentations and be pre-qualified to get onto this list. Next slide, please. This is our contact information. Please email us, call us. We are here to assist you. We're here to help you grow and, of course, to be successful. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Reamer.
Thank you so very much, Rosa, and to all of our participants. I, once again, can't stress enough about making sure that you find yourself registered on RAMP and you avail yourself of all the opportunities that we have for you. The community level contracting tool is one where we want our small business to be able to operate as primes, to give you an opportunity, as was shared with you, to contract directly with the city. And so we have unbundled, if you will, certain projects or programs to afford that opportunity, and we plan on doing more. So I so encourage you to take advantage of that. You know, I noticed that you've been very active in the chat, which is fantastic. I've looked and I've seen that you've identified who you are and made yourself available, and I would encourage you to continue to do that. I also encourage you to use that as an opportunity to submit questions that you might have to us, not necessarily waiting. We may not be able to respond to them today, but we certainly will respond to those questions because ideas pop up to your head as you're hearing presentations, and we don't want you to hold on to it and lose it. So feel free to just jot into the chat a question that might come up. We also are going to afford you an opportunity at the end through our Q&A Zoom to give us a survey, to give us questions that you might have. So don't hesitate to let us know the things that you'd like more information on. I appreciate partnerships, and our Accessing LA is a huge partnership where we want to involve each and every one of you and those who will to know what we have available. And we have some phenomenal partners that are participating with us today. These partnerships help point us in the right direction so that we can know exactly what we need to do and where we need to go. One of those partners is the Department of Water and Power, and Christopher Munnis is here to join us and share with us upcoming contracting opportunities. Christopher?
Thanks, John. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Munnis, and I'll be providing a brief presentation regarding upcoming water system construction projects for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. For a little background on myself, I'm an engineer and project manager at LADWP and manage multiple capital improvement projects for the water system. Let's jump into it. Next slide, please. So here's a quick overview of some of the upcoming water system projects we have on the horizon I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but at the end of the presentation, I plan to share a link that you can visit for additional information on competitive bids, project labor agreements, and other opportunities to do business with our team at LADWP. As you can see on the table displayed on your screen, we have a number of projects that we plan to advertise over the next 12 months with budgets ranging from $32 million all the way up to $570 million, all of which include prime and subcontracting opportunities. We'll get into more specifics for each project on the coming slides. Next slide, please. So first up, we have the Water Quality Lab Design Build opportunity, which we plan to advertise later this year. As you can see, the construction estimate is $120 million and includes subcontracting opportunities for landscaping, reinforcing steel, HVAC installation, and construction equipment rentals. The scope of this project includes design and construction of a new 100,000 square foot water quality lab, which will provide lab space, staff offices, and parking. When complete, the new lab will replace the existing water quality laboratory in Pasadena. The new lab will be centrally located, state-of-the-art, and provide accommodations to meet future staffing projections. Next slide, please. Next, we have the Grant Lake Spillway Modification Project with an estimated construction cost of approximately $45 to $50 million and an anticipated advertised date of April 2023. As you can see here, the following subcontracting opportunities are available: concrete placement and pumping, shotcrete reinforcement bars, structural steel for the walkway, dewatering wells, concrete form erection and dismantling, fencing, subdrain, electrical and mechanical installation, and testing. The project is located in Mono County, approximately 25 miles north of Mammoth for any skiers in the audience. This project aims to modify the existing spillway by installing adjustable weirs and increasing the depth of the line channel. Other features include a box culvert, control house, and concrete crane pad. When complete, the new spillway will be capable of discharging between 380 and 750 CFS. Next slide, please. On to City Trunkline North Unit 2 with an estimated construction cost of $32 million and an anticipated advertised date of mid-2023. This project will install approximately 11,600 linear feet of seismically resistant 54-inch welded steel pipe near Arleta, California. Upon open trench work will be completed by in-house construction forces, but all micro-tunneling and slip line work will be completed by a contractor. Of the 11,600 linear feet, approximately 1,200 will be installed via micro-tunneling and another 2,500 will be slip lined. Subcontracting opportunities for this project include earthwork, saw cutting, hauling, paving, welding, shoring design, cathodic protection, pipe disinfection, and traffic control. Next slide, please. The final example I'll provide today is the Mid-Valley Water Facility Design Build opportunity. This project has an estimated construction cost of $570 million and an anticipated advertised date of early next year. The scope of this project includes design and construction of a new yard for water distribution staff in Van Nuys. The yard will include 246,000 square feet of administrative offices and warehouse space, a 216,000 square foot parking structure, and 171,000 square feet of laydown area for construction materials and equipment. When complete, the facility will replace and consolidate a number of outdated and undersized water system facilities spread out across Los Angeles. Next slide, please. So the last item I would like to bring to everyone's attention is the LADWP Supply Line newsletter. You can use the link shown on the screen and provided within the chat box to access the site and find more information about competitive bids, project labor agreements, and other opportunities to do business with LADWP. That wraps up my presentation. I appreciate you all taking the time to listen in, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Christopher. And we certainly appreciate you being a valuable partner in the city of Los Angeles. Next, we have Charles Adams from the Port of Los Angeles, who will share with us upcoming contracting opportunities. Charles?
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Reamer, and thank you for having me here. Definitely happy to talk about some of the projects that we have coming up with the Port of Los Angeles. So again, my name is Charles Adams. I am Assistant Chief Harbor Engineer with the Construction Division at the Port. Next slide, please. We actually have 3 projects that we're currently advertising for bids, and I'll kind of go through them in a little bit more detail. Next slide, please. Our first one is our North Gappy beautification project. It's basically a hardscape landscape project trying to improve and beautify a stretch of unimproved property along North Gaffey. Is to complement 2 projects, one that was completed a few years ago, another one that is currently under construction right now. Subcontracting opportunities include fencing, electrical, and paving. Next slide, please. We're also really excited about this project. It's a continuance of a promenade. It's our San Pedro Waterfront Promenade Phase 2 contract. Phase 1 was completed last year. Those are the pictures that you see here. It's a project that the port is doing to complement an upcoming private development by West Harbor. So we're really excited about this project. We also includes a demolition of 3 existing buildings. So there's opportunities for asbestos, lead, mold abatement, concrete work, paving, pavers, pile driving, and reinforcing steel. So next slide, please. We're also going to be remodeling our boardroom where our Board of Harbor Commissioners meet. Subcontracting opportunities include carpentry, electrical, and audiovisual. Next slide, please. So here's a list of some upcoming opportunities that we're hoping to advertise over the next 3-4 months. One mistake on here, I apologize for. Our first project on there probably will be advertised sometime next month, not in January. But I'll highlight a few of these projects, just kind of give you an idea of the different types of work that we do at the port. Next slide, please. Our first one is basically a conglomerate of demolition projects. We'll be demolishing about 3 or 4 different buildings or structures throughout the Port of Los Angeles. Of course, scope of work includes asbestos, mold, lead abatement, and then other miscellaneous removals and demolition. Next slide, please. We'll also be reconfiguring the intersection between SR 47 and Harbor Boulevard and Front Street. This is a really heavily used intersection that really is in great need of some improvement to increase the amount of flow that goes onto and off of the Vincent Thomas Bridge and down the southbound 110 and enters the Port of Los Angeles. So a lot of different opportunities for different scopes of work on this big project. Next slide, please. And then another scope of another type project that we do is more rail-oriented work. This one is going to be within one of our existing busy container terminals. It's their on-dock rail yard expansion. So basically rail work, signaling, improvements, storm drain, striping, paving, miscellaneous work. Next slide, please. So to learn more about doing business with specifically the Port of Los Angeles, you can go to our website. For information on how to submit bids, project labor agreements, etc. Next slide, please. One of the links on that page will take you to our what we call our Construction Division Business Opportunity Network, or we affectionately call it CD-BON. CD-BON will have 2 links for you that are of great importance. One, a link on the right-hand side that will show you all of the bidding opportunities that we have. Next slide, please. And then on the left, after you've registered with RAMP, you can also register with CD-BON to get notified of upcoming opportunities by clicking here and registering with us. And by registering, you'll also be able to submit bids. One of the things that you'll be able to see on the bidding opportunities, even without registering, is plan holders lists for those projects that are being advertised. So if you want to network with anyone that's already expressed interest in bidding the project, you can find their contact information on the plan holders list. So next slide, please. So that's all I have for you today. Again, it's definitely been a pleasure to be with you, and thank you very much for your interest in working with the Port of Los Angeles. Mr. Reamer.
Thank you so very much, Charles, another valuable partner with the City of Los Angeles. We appreciate your being here with us today.
Thank you.
Allison Lavalace from the Los Angeles World Airports will share with us current and upcoming contracting opportunities.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Allison Lavallee, and I work for the Strategic Sourcing Division at Los Angeles World Airports. And today I will be briefly speaking to you about some of LAWA's upcoming procurement opportunities. Next slide. So to get us started, just want to share with you that LAWA procures hundreds of millions of dollars annually in goods, equipment, materials, and supplies, including non-professional services such as delivery, maintenance, and even painting services. LAWA has administered over $14 billion in requests for proposals for many of our construction projects. And these construction projects are actually managed by our planning and development group, as well as professional services, including on-call contracts. Next slide. So as a great resource to you, please visit LAWA's website to view the contract status report. This report is updated every month, and there you'll find information regarding contracts that are due to expire within the year, including a brief contract description and the current contract value. And what you're currently viewing right now is just an example of what that web page looks like. Next slide. So what's happening at LAWA during 2023? Listen carefully because this is going to be a mouthful. LAWA will be seeking proposals from qualified design, build, and construction teams for a multi-year, multiple award contract. Or another way of putting it is MATOCs, meaning multiple award task order contracts. These contracts will be for construction, design, build, architecture, engineering, and program services and environmental planning. These contract awards are in connection with some of our major projects that are coming up in 2023, such as our Terminal 9 project, our airside projects, and wayfinding program. So just in case some of you are wondering, what is wayfinding? In short, it is statistical and digital designs of signs, maps, web interfaces, displays that would be placed throughout LAWA and all around the airport, basically to help our passengers navigate throughout LAX. Next slide. So just taking a look at the MATOC schedule. Tentatively, LAWA is expecting to release RFPs for planning and design, construction, and environmental programs during the first quarter. And then we'll release an RFP for additional services. Next slide. So for accessing LAWA's opportunities, please be sure to register on Ramp LA. I know you've heard that quite often today, but it is really a great resource. Once you're registered there, you'll find LAWA opportunities, and you can also receive notifications when our projects are advertised. Next slide. Here I have included the web addresses for Ramp, LAWA's website, the contract status report, and if you have any questions regarding the construction projects, you can email the development group at the email provided at the bottom of the page. Next slide. And thank you. This concludes my presentation.
And a very fine one. Thank you, Allison. I so appreciate your partnership and being with us here today. I am going to follow Allison by saying, you heard it. I'm going to say it again, register on Ramp. You know what? If you don't get anything from today, you're going to get, I guess I need to register on Ramp. Most certainly you do. Have you ever tried getting on a freeway without coming on the on-ramp? Ramp is access to the highway for hope. I'm telling you, it is a place where you will find many, many, many opportunities, many of which will come from our next presenter. And we are pleased to have with us Naji Jami with the Bureau of Engineering, Department of Public Works, to share with us upcoming contracting opportunities.
Thank you, Mr. Reamer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Najia Jami. I'm a civil engineer associate with the Bureau of Engineering, and today I'll be discussing contracting opportunities in construction that the city has to offer, what types there are, and the requirements for application. Next slide, please. The types of construction projects that we advertise include construction of city facilities such as parks, sports facilities, as well as work done on streets and bridges, as well as stormwater and wastewater pipelines. Next slide, please. In order for bidders to be considered for these opportunities, they must meet the mandatory subcontractor requirement stated in the particular bid documents, and they may vary by project. They must also attend the pre-bid meeting or apply for a waiver for the meeting after attending a city-sponsored networking event within 12 months prior to the pre-bid meeting date. Next slide, please. You can find the Bureau's current bid opportunities and their requirements, as well as apply for these opportunities on RAMP, as my colleagues have discussed for their various departments. And that's on rampla.org. Next slide, please. We also have a site, eng.lacity.org/contractors, where you can see past, current, and upcoming construction bid opportunities, as well as see a list of what companies have downloaded the project plans and documents from RAMP. Next slide, please. So one of the links on that page will take you to anticipated construction projects. It's a list of construction projects that'll be going out to bid from anywhere from today all the way to exactly 1 year in the future. It has the estimated bid range in dollars, as well as the project title and the board that will be advertising the project. Next slide, please. And then another one of our links is to the current projects out to bid. It has details on each project, such as the pre-bid meeting information, the project manager's contact info, and the estimated bid amount for the project. And then at the bottom of the slide, we have the plan holders list, which for each project will show a list of the companies that have logged into RAMP and downloaded a copy of the plans. Next slide, please. And then another of our links will take you to the historical bid results. So after the bid window is closed, we publish a list of all the bids from lowest to highest bidder, and they'll have the company and names and the amount that they bid on each project. Next slide, please. And then we have a list of some things to avoid in preparing the bid proposal for these opportunities, as these are very extensive multi-page documents that have to be submitted for each bid. So certain things to avoid are having notary dates that don't match the signature dates for particular affidavits, errors in bid prices, not completing Schedule A and RAMP. If the error is not significant, the city will ask you to resubmit a document or otherwise revise that part of the bid. But if the error is significant, it can cause the bid to be declared non-responsive. Next slide, please. So to sum this up, here are the important websites to look at our construction opportunities. First, and most importantly, rampla.org, and then englacity.org for more information, and then eng.lacity.org/contractors to look at past, current, and future opportunities. Thank you everyone for your time. And Mr. Reamer, I'd like to turn this presentation back to you.
Well, thank you so much, Naja. Appreciate your being a great partner with us as well. Next, we have Gerald Chong and Kitty Pye from the Los Angeles General Services Department to share with us upcoming opportunities.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Reamer. My name is Kitty Pye, and I am one of the procurement supervisors at General Services Department. And with me today to give you this presentation is also Gerald Chung. He is the management analyst over at the Supply and Customer Relations. Next slide, please. Okay, that's just a picture of us. All right, next slide, please. Okay, Supply Services Division's mission is to procure all supplies, equipment, and services in a cost-effective and timely manner. In attempting to fulfill this mission, all qualified suppliers will be given an equal opportunity to do business with the city. The Supply Services Division is organized and comprised of 5 commodity groups and 3 support groups. The support groups are supplier and customer relations, systems, and payment services. Next slide, please. Okay. Supply Service Division is responsible for procurement, inventory management, salvage, payment, supply and customer relations, and FMS support functions. The procurement groups are organized into 5 centralized commodity groups, and they are automotive, construction and building maintenance, general operations and information technology, industrial, and public safety. In the last fiscal year, we have made over $633 million in purchases. We administer 440 annual requirement contracts. We've made 76,000 contract purchase orders, 2,300 one-time purchase orders, which are for $1,000 or more, and 22,000 blanket purchase orders for under $1,000. Next slide, please. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to turn over to Gerald. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Kitty. The General Services Department, Los Angeles Ramp, Vendor Self-Service, and the City of Los Angeles websites are all located on this page. I want to emphasize that registering with LA Ramp and LA VSS is completely 2 different accounts and not interchangeable. We get tons of emails and phone calls saying they tried logging into LA Ramp with their VSS information and vice versa, and they're unable to log in and want to know why it doesn't work. Please be aware of this. Next slide, please. This is what the General Services Department website looks like. Next slide, please. And this is what the LA Vendor Self-Service website looks like. Next slide, please. The Los Angeles VSS is for commodity vendors. Business opportunities or solicitations are posted on the LA VSS website. All responses to City of Los Angeles solicitation must be submitted through VSS. To respond, you must sign up for a VSS account. Next slide, please. On the LA VSS website, you can click on New Registration to create an account. If you have an existing vendor ID number, click on Request Activation Code. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us either by phone or email. On the website, if you click on VSS Guides, we have step-by-step guides to navigate the website and training videos. Vendors should register with LA VSS because this is where vendors can submit bids. Back to Kitty. Next slide, please.
Okay. In our commodity solicitations, we do have a couple of reference preferences that we will incorporate. So I'm here to explain why get certified. Okay, well, being certified will help level the playing field. Now, if a RFP or a RFQ, a request for quotation, or an IFB, any type of bids has a preferential scoring in participation, a certified firm will have a leg up over another that isn't certified. Now, certification applications with the cities are free at the bca.lacity.org/certification. Certification is another marketing tool for a company, and it can raise a firm's profile in competing against a non-certified prime or subcontractors. However, being certified does not guarantee that you will be awarded a contract or a purchase order. Next slide, please. Okay, depending on the certification, a firm can get free marketing exposure to subcontractors and other government agencies through the city's online database, which is bca.lacd.org, or the statewide database, or RAMP or RAMP. A certification is not mutually exclusive. A qualifying firm can have multiple certifications. The two that I mentioned will affect the outcome of the bid is a small local business or SLB, 10% bid preference, and the local business enterprise preference, which is 8%. Next slide, please. Okay, so when selling to the city, there are a few points that you need to keep in mind. One is to examine your strategy and find out who in the city has the needs and convert them into specifications for buying goods or services that will satisfy the end user's needs. Become familiar with competitive bidding process as it relates to your products or services. Get to know the customer or end user department. Include manufacturers and other members of your own supply chain in your marketing strategy, and be aware of a city approved versus non-approved products, and learn how the accounts payable process functions. I just want to mention that on the accounts payable functions, the GSE does a three-way match, which is a PO, receiving, and invoicing. That's a three-way match. Okay, next slide, please. And here's our contact information. If you have any questions, here's the help desk, supply customer relation, the help desk phone number. And again, like Gerald had mentioned, that registering on LA RAMP is not the same as registering on LA VSS. In order to participate in a supply services division bidding opportunity, you must register on LA VSS and respond to all of our bids through the online portal. And again, my name is Kitty Pye. I'm the procurement supervisor over the GenOps and operations group. But if you have questions regarding construction opportunities, Martha Medina is the construction supervisor. You're welcome to contact her. If you need their contact information, please send an email to the gsc.centralp@lacd.org, and they will provide you with our contact information. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Reamer. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Kitty and Gerald. We greatly appreciate your partnership and being here with us today. Next, we have Summer Gomez from the Los Angeles County of Public Works, who will share with us upcoming contracting opportunities.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, John. And thank you so much for having us here. It's an honor to present for Public Works and to teach you all how to do business with us. A side note, I have Julie Fan also, who will be monitoring the chat. She will be dropping all the pertinent links in the chat, so feel free to just copy it from there. Next slide, please. So who are we? So Los Angeles County Public Works is one of the 38 departments. We have a lot of departments within Los Angeles County. And just to be clear, it's Los Angeles County, not Los Angeles City. So this is a city-driven event. So we are happy to be here. So we are one of the largest municipal agencies in the United States, providing vital services and infrastructure to over 10 million people. So last year we awarded 1 billion contracts, $1 billion worth of contracts, and helped create over 12,000 jobs. This year you could be a part of that statistics. In the next couple slides, you will not only learn how to do business with Public Works, but also how to do business with the 37 other departments. Next slide, please. So step one, you need to become a vendor, registered county vendor through the Internal Services Department. You can see on the screen here the list of items you will need. Since I only have 5 minutes, this will be dropped in the chat, and then that website will lead you directly to their webpage. And that's where you could sign up. Next slide. Step two is to get certified with Los Angeles County. Now you could do this through the Department of Economic Opportunity, and this is one of our newest county departments, and they are here to help small businesses. So their goal is to help in any way possible. These are the slides that you could, the certifications that you could get qualified for. There's 4 major ones. Again, Julie will drop the links in the chat, and that will help guide you directly to their webpage. So make sure to get certified. Next slide. So once you complete those 2 steps, now you could do business with Public Works. So Public Works procures services through requests for proposals, so RFPs. Next slide. So you can view these RFPs directly on our website. It's dobusinesswithpublicworks.com. Some of these opportunities include buildings and major construction projects, infrastructure maintenance, professional services, purchasing services, and there are over 20,000 types of materials and services that are purchased on an as-needed basis. So that's a lot of opportunities. They range from uniforms to office supplies to printing services. You name it, there's an opportunity for you. Next slide. So one of the ways to keep updated with our information is to get subscribed through our subscription. If you're interested in receiving opportunities directly to your email, please drop it in the chat and Julie will take note of it and we can do it from our end, automatically subscribe you. So you'll get notified about new opportunities as well as resources and small business events such as this one today. If you take a look right here on the right of your screen, that's a sneak peek of our newsletter. So you see the new opportunities in the beginning, and then if you scroll down, you'll be able to see future events and resources. Next slide. Oh, I went through it pretty quick. So there's my information. If you have any questions, you could feel free to reach out via email. You can also drop any questions you have in the chat. So again, 3 steps: get registered, get certified, and then you'll be able to do business with Public Works. And I'll hand that over back to John. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Summer, and thank you for being here. I just want to speak to the partnership. It's not just the city of LA, and you said that well. The county as well, and we value that relationship. And I encourage everyone to see that we desperately want in our region to create opportunities for all businesses. So we are grateful for your being here. Our last presentation will provide us a panel discussion addressing the importance of building inclusion for all. Greg Vandergriff with our Bureau of Engineering is going to facilitate this discussion. I look forward to it and I hope you do as well. Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Reamer. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. With me, I have 2 of our contractors' representatives. First is Michelle Carante, and second is Miss Brianna Weaver. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself, Michelle.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Quirante. I'm with Clark Construction Group. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for Clark Construction. My role is to ensure we are including small, diverse, minority-owned businesses on our projects, also making sure that we're engaging within our community. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Ms. Weaver.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me as well. I'm Brianna Weaver with PCL Construction. We are a large general contractor. I serve our California Buildings Office, so our California operations as our business inclusion specialist, with the focus on diversity and inclusion across our projects, but also ensuring that we have diverse subcontractors able to access the ample amount of opportunities on our projects.
Thank you. So the way this is going to work is we have a few questions that we think might help you as a sub-consultant or subcontractor to these companies. And I'll ask each one of them our question and get their response, and then we'll move on to the next question. So Michelle, we'll start with you with the first question. When looking for a sub-consultant, what are some key things that you are looking for?
I think this would need to align with our 5 core values. So as a general contractor, we have 5 core values. So we believe that the relationships we build with our subs also need to align with these values. So if a company, puts their safety first, deliver excellence and quality in their work, a company that models integrity. And it's very important that this company be committed to creating opportunities for our community. Just like the theme of this event, building inclusion for all, making sure that procurement on their projects, which if they're a sub on our projects, means that they need to procure diverse minority-owned businesses on their projects as well.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Weaver, could you answer the same question when looking for a
Certainly.
sub-consultant?
Yes.
What are some Sure, go ahead.
For sure. No worries, no worries. So definitely in agreement with what Michelle shared. Something else that we especially value is, are you a solutions provider? And really, if you're a solutions provider, are you knowledgeable enough of our projects, of the different goals that we have as a company and the different sectors that we will focus on to be able to align or at least provide a solution or help us with what we're doing? I speak with our estimators often, and I consider them the gatekeepers or one of the gatekeepers to our projects in terms of accessing contracts. And so I've gotten feedback that, hey, this person wants to work on this project, but it doesn't align, or I don't think they even understand kind of what we're looking for. So it goes a long way for us to know that you've done your homework to make sure that we're on the same page.
Great, thank you. This next question I know was always important to my father and my brother as contractors. And that is, how far in advance are you looking for subs for a project, Ms. Weaver?
It's an interesting question because we're looking year round, especially our XBEs, the disadvantaged or underutilized business enterprises. We're outreaching year round. We have our pre-qualification database, and to date, about a little over 40% of the subcontractors and firms that are pre-qualified with us are XBEs. And we do that for a reason, because as most of you know, projects will come up, contracts will come up. You have to be prepared to, bid within a few weeks, a month, depending on the project itself. And so what we don't want to do is make it project-based and have to do all of that, leading up to it. It's really purposeful work. The idea is that we're not just looking for our projects, but how can we help the industry as a whole? How are we constantly providing information, these types of opportunities to share more insights about how to successfully work with us, to make sure that it's a numbers game. So we want to get you in our pre-qual database so that we can make sure you have a greater chance at accessing a contract when the opportunity comes up.
Right. Ms. Carante?
Definitely echo all of that, Brianna. It's an open-ended question for sure. So it is very important to get pre-qualified and do that initial step to ensure that we're not doing things last minute when trying to procure contractors. There's a few different procurement types. So if we are doing like a design build, that's something we can start teaming up with our subs as far as a year in advance. So that's something allowing our subs to give them more time to prepare for a project. If it's something like a hard bid, there are those that have shorter timeframes. It can be us requesting numbers as short as a week, 2 weeks, a month. So there are different types of opportunities, but I think the main intent and focus is to make sure you're prepared, get pre-qualified, and do all the necessary things to ensure that you are on our list of subs.
Great, thank you. So this next question is more focused on our theme for this conference, and that is, how have you built inclusion into your work practices? So Ms. Carante, we'll start with you.
Okay, so Clark Construction actually has a couple of programs that builds inclusion into our practices. So the first one is our SDBE 15 program. This is our internal requirement on all of our projects. So whether or not we have a contractual requirement from an agency or a private client that they would like for us to utilize small businesses, we have our own internal requirement, meaning that on all of our projects, 15% of our project needs to go to small, diverse, minority, women-owned, veteran-owned businesses. So we pride ourselves on that, and I want to say it's at least 15%. That's not the max. So we really pride ourselves on meeting that requirement. Our second program is our SPP program. It's actually our strategic partnership program. So it's a 9-month educational course. It's a free program for our trade partners that we're working with, and even trade partners that we're trying to do business with. And we basically have a curriculum of different topics, such as, understanding insurance and bonding, scheduling, purchasing, marketing. So all the tools that a trade partner would need to build their capacity to not only do business with us, but also do business with other GCs like PCL or agencies like the City of LA.
And Ms. Weaver.
Definitely. So a little similar. We really base it around our partnerships, our external partnerships with organizations and entities that align with our DEI efforts. So for example, we have a great partnership with the National Association of Minority Contractors. There are folks that we partner with regularly throughout the year. To access the contractors within their database, to connect with them, to provide educational resources similar to what Michelle was saying that could really be applied across the board for contractors looking to successfully get contracts with GCs. Something a little more internally also is that we have our DEI committee, which is internal to our California operations. We have them in all of our districts, but more specifically to California. What we've been able to do, I get to co-chair it with someone from our HR, another individual from our HR department, and we get to figure out, okay, how can we embed these values within our operations so that it's not just the DEI person who has to be responsible for this? How can we make sure that our estimators have those core values when they're looking at contract opportunities? How can we ensure that our executive team has that, our accounting team, everyone, right? And something that we found to be especially valuable, especially working in construction, is figuring out what are the current operations and how can we embed ourselves within those things without creating something new. So for example, most of us are familiar with safety moments. It's become a huge thing over the past 10 years, especially obviously safety first. And so what we've been able to do is instill DEI moments. And so what that does is it says, okay, hey group, let's get together. Let's talk about why we need diverse contractors on this project. Let's talk about the community that we're building in and why is it significant that we have to be mindful of not just what we're building on our site, but what's outside of our site. And so I found that those types of practices, making sure that our folks, our teams internally are on the same page, allows us to just show up as a company externally to really be able to have those conversations and ultimately provide the access that we know that contractors and other firms are looking to have with us.
Thank you. For those of us that might not be as familiar with the term, what does DEI stand for?
Oh, great question, Greg. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. It could be a mouthful, so you'll hear us say DEI to, get to the point.
Great, thank you. So you both alluded to this, and that is that your subs need to be part of your database that you can go to. So how do subs get registered with your firm to be considered? Brianna, can you go ahead, please?
Sure. We have a dedicated staff person who literally oversees all of our pre-qualification, the entire process. And so we understand that, it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of financial documents, et cetera, that one has to prepare. And it could be a daunting, it could be a daunting process just because of the length or the type of paperwork you have to provide. So we have someone who is dedicated to literally walking you through every single step to make sure that you complete it. Just to say, I don't know if I stated it clearly earlier, but pre-qualification for us is the only way that you'll ever be invited to be a contractor on our project. So we go to our pre-qualification database. So it's very important when we're doing outreach, when we're providing educational resources and all of those great things, that folks know that you have to be pre-qualified first. That is the way that you get contracts. And so we want to make sure that that happens successfully, and we have folks that can help you with that.
And Michelle?
Definitely the same process. You do need to be pre-qualified with Clark. You can definitely reach out to me if you need help with that process. I'm going to be putting in our pre-qualification information in the chat so everyone can have that link, but that helps us understand the contractors that are trying to do business with us and help gain their capacity, their references, the size of projects they're able to do with Clark Construction. So it's very important you get pre-qualified. That is definitely the first step, and you will not be invited to bid unless you are in our system. Second step would be to be on Building Connected. which, you know, gets you in front of a lot of other GCs, not just Clark Construction. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat if anyone's interested, and I'll put in my email as well if you have any questions regarding our pre-qualification process.
Great, thank you.
I'll do the same.
Great. So I have one last question for you both. And this is kind of one of those that, well, it's really to help anybody, but particularly those that are new to this process. And that is, can you share with the subs any pitfalls to avoid? In other words, what are fatal flaws that they want to avoid when they're trying to get a contract with your company? Ms. Weaver?
Pitfalls to avoid when trying to get a contract with our company. I will say, you know, obviously you want to make sure that what you're presenting aligns with your performance. So if you have great performance, similar to what Michelle shared earlier, the core value of excellence and being committed to that, safety, you know, all of that for sure. You don't want to not have those things. I will say another thing is follow through. You know, it's something that I hear constantly as a concern. There have been subcontractors who have reached out, wanted to get connected, and then didn't follow through. And that's really unfortunate because there's always another subcontractor who is ready, hungry, and you know, prepared. And unfortunately, that does impact one's reputation. And so, you know, a big part of what we also value is relationship management, relationship building. And so are you building relationships with Michelle, or folks like Michelle, folks like myself? Are you coming out to our events? Are you following up? Are you following through? And also, are you aligned with what we're trying to do? Do you understand the work that we're trying to do? It's great to say, hey, that's a general contractor, let's work with you. But, you know, our sectors may be very different from what you're doing. For example, we're California Buildings, we build vertically, but there may be subcontractors who are accustomed to building horizontally. And so there lies an issue or a misalignment. So I want to really emphasize the relationship management piece because it does go a long way. There have been smaller subcontractors who may not typically get access to large projects like the project we're finishing up at the airport, the consolidated rental facility, rental car facility. Projects like that, where a smaller subcontractor, because they follow through, because they had great relationships with the folks internally on our team and really had a great zipper approach to different levels within our organization, they were able to get that contract. And sometimes opportunities come up that way. So just really show up well because we are paying attention to that.
And Michelle?
I agree with everything Brianna said. That was going to be my main focus with that question is relationship building. So prior to coming with Clark, I did work a lot for about 7 years with small business contractors and trying to identify what they could do better in order to be more visible to GCs to get projects. And I think that's a very important component. You can get pre-qualified with us. You will be in our system. That's great. But once you're in the system, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the project. You do need to speak with, you know, your outreach team, such as me and Brianna, making sure that you're keeping that relationship going with us, as well as our estimators, because like, what do they say? Out of sight, out of mind, right? There is another contractor that can do the same thing you're doing, but if you're not making yourself visible to us, obviously, we're going to go to the next contractor that is. So that's a very important part of doing business with GCs.
Great. Thank you both very much for your information, for your perspective. We appreciate the time you took from your busy schedules to be with us. So thank you. And I'll turn the time back over to Mr. Reamer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to stand here and applaud. I mean, that was fabulous, so informative. And I want to just thank all three of you, Greg, Michelle, Brianna, for giving us that valuable insight. You know, we've used the word today, partnering, and not by mistake. And I hope that you gleaned from all of the presentations that you heard today, especially the last one, how partnering is going to be fueled by participation. You're engaging, you're being a part of the process. We so want you to be a part of this, but it's going to take you to make that step. So we encourage you to do that. We have been streaming this live today on Facebook, And on the City of LA's Department of Public Works website, you can find it. So you can go back and review this as often as you like. And we also encourage you, as you see here on the screen, to respond to our 3-question survey. Give us feedback, as much information as you would like to share and you'd like for us to have, because we get better as we hear from you, because we want all of us to be better. We want to thank you again for investing your time with us today. And that's what you did. You invested your time, and we don't take that lightly. We are greatly appreciative of that. For those of you who have applied to the B2B matchmaking, we look forward to seeing you next week. And to all of our participants, to all of our partners, to our prime contractors, certainly to our elected leaders who have communicated their great support for this, we want to say thank you. If you came here and your cup was almost empty, we hope you're left with it full and running over. And we want nothing but success for you as you go forward. We hope and trust that you will put to use all the information that you received today, and that you will go forth and access LA and build with in a phenomenal way to achieve the success you're looking for. Blessings to each and every one of you. And then again, it was our honor and our privilege and our pleasure to spend this time with you today. Stay well and be safe and dry out there. Take care.